Senior referee Todd Sinclair calls for the opening bell. The ROH World title on the line in a three-way elimination matchup. It's Bryan Danielson defending the title against both BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs.
There may be other places where the champion doesn't have to be pinned to lose his title, but certainly not in ROH. It's elimination rules. And you gotta wonder if Jimmy Jacobs and BJ Whitmer may try to team up on Bryan Danielson in the early going.
Of course, there's existing issues between Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs, as right now, submission predicament for two men as Jimmy Jacobs keeps control of the head of the champion. Whitmer back to his feet and Jacobs backed him to the corner. It's an unusual match type for Bryan Danielson. He's someone who excels at one-on-one competition, and now he has two opponents in this matchup if he wants to walk away still champion at the end of the night.
Nice takedown there from Jimmy Jacobs, able to get two. And Danielson now with the cravat takes him over.
BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs, former ROH Tag Team Champions. And it was right here in Detroit at the Dragon Gate Challenge event that they had a very memorable matchup against one another with a unfortunate fall off the top rope, landing on the floor, and a really ugly scene. And right now it's coming down to just slapping one another across the face.
And now opting to trade forearms back and forth.
And it looks like BJ Whitmer got the better end of that exchange. And now going to work on Bryan Danielson.
Series of chops sends him off. Danielson reverses. Nice drop kick right to the mouth.
And of course, just last week in Manhattan, BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs facing off against one another to determine who would get the title shot here tonight against Danielson. That match going to a no contest as BJ Whitmer powerbombed Jacobs off the top turnbuckle over the guardrail into the crowd, and either man could continue. So they both get the title shot here tonight. Good work by Danielson right there, avoiding the head scissors. Jacobs not able to get enough momentum on his side, and into the airplane spin he goes.
And Dave, I will never forget that powerbomb we saw last week. One of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Amazing that Jacobs or Whitmer can even continue to wrestle just a week later after that maneuver. BJ Whitmer puts a stop to the airplane spin with the drop kick. As Jacobs is sent out to the floor, and Whitmer focuses on the champ.
Certainly, there's no way Whitmer or Jacobs are 100%. They're looking pretty good so far, though, but you gotta wonder, as the match wears on, will that work into the favor of Bryan Danielson?
Hey, someone got to try.
Whitmer now picking up Danielson, elbow to the back of the head.
The question remains, you know, if BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs would execute a power bomb over the guardrail into the crowd in order to just get a title shot, what will they do in a match like this where the title is actually on the line?
Certainly, that's the question that Bryan Danielson's got to be asking himself, Dave. He's seen what they'll do to each other just to get a shot. Anything is possible tonight to try to actually take the title.
Going to the eyes of BJ Whitmer. And Danielson loves to set the pace of his own matches, but can he do something like that when he has two opponents, both gunning for his championship? As Lacey tends to Jimmy Jacobs, or just sort of yells at him to get back in the ring.
Now going after the nose of BJ Whitmer, pulling up the nostrils. He went to focus his attention on Jimmy Jacobs, and Jimmy Jacobs caught him shoulder thrust into the stomach.
Jimmy Jacobs has been infatuated with Lacey, obsessed, very creepy individual. I wonder if he can remain focused during this match on winning the championship and keep his thoughts off of Lacey in the corner.
Well, we've mentioned in the past, having Lacey at ringside is both a blessing and a curse, as at times it seems to motivate Jimmy Jacobs, and also, of course, at other times it seems to distract him.
We saw Bryan Danielson get upset in a three-way format match last week. This is his opportunity to prove that he's a viable competitor in three-way competition. And of course, in this match, it is elimination rules, not first pinfall.
Certainly, as you mentioned earlier, Dave, Danielson's specialty is one-on-one, and if you're Danielson, there's no way that you can be happy about having to do a three-way match 2 weeks in a row.
Elevates BJ Whitmer in the Mexican surfboard.
He's Whitmer wide open for a series of chops from Jimmy Jacobs.
Jacobs off the ropes. And drives the boots into the back of the head and the neck of his former tag team partner.
Almost like a double stop right to the head. All the weight of Jimmy Jacobs driven into BJ Whitmer and takes over Bryan Danielson and follows it up with a drop kick to the back of the head.
Softening up that neck for the Contra code. It's Jimmy Jacobs with Bryan Danielson. Headbutt delivered. And kicking away at the chest of Danielson in the corner. Here's some of the fans here getting behind Jimmy Jacobs as we are here in Detroit. This is his home region. Pulls Danielson to the center of the ring and goes for the cover.
And what a weekend this will be for Bryan Danielson. If he's able to retain the title tonight, he still has to face Colt Cabana tomorrow in Cabana's hometown of Chicago. And certainly for Colt Cabana, you gotta be watching the match closely. If Danielson were to lose the title, whoever wins it is contractually obligated to face Cabana tomorrow. Cabana gets his shot no matter what. And who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Jacobs? Is it gonna be Danielson? Or is it gonna be BJ Whitmer?
Elevates Jimmy Jacobs, delivers the backbreaker right across the knee. This weekend's a huge test for the American Dragon. If he can escape still wearing the title at the end of the weekend.
Jacobs able to pull himself up by the ropes. Still dazed in the corner.
Whitmer staying out of the action out on the floor right now, which is actually a wise strategy in an elimination rules matchup. Let one of these guys get eliminated first before subjecting yourself to possible punishment.
You're used to seeing so many two-way one-fall matches where guys are rushing into the ring to try to break up the pin. It's certainly not the case here. Whitmer can take his time if he chooses to. But certainly if Jacobs and Danielson were to catch on, you might find yourself in a two-on-one position if you're BJ Whitmer.
Chopping away in the chest of Jimmy Jacobs after Jacobs was able to take the champion down with that missile drop kick. Whitmer with the elbow, goes for the cover. But Jacobs able to kick out. Lacey encouraging Jimmy Jacobs. As Whitmer wraps the head. Finding away on the back now as Jacobs is trying to fight out of the position. Snap suplex. Cover, gets that shoulder up, and Bryan Danielson right there was waiting for the right moment to interject himself into the action, and now Whitmer using some of the tactics of Danielson, breaking away the eyes, and it throws him to the floor. And again, you see BJ Whitmer focusing on Jimmy Jacobs. These two have a standing issue, unresolved between them.
Well, at the start of the matchup, Dave, we wondered, would Whitmer and Jacobs focus their attention on taking out Danielson early?
Going for the exploder, Jacobs trying to elbow his way out of this position.
But Whitmer and Jacobs have done the exact opposite, going after each other.
Danielson, German suplex, and takes over Jacobs as well. All the way out to the floor he goes.
Double suplex there as Danielson's German suplex caused Jimmy Jacobs to eat an exploder suplex.
In one motion does damage to both of his opponents. You can see why Bryan Danielson calls himself the best wrestler in the world. Scoops up Whitmer. That chest first into the buckle is Danielson.
Whitmer was able to slip out and then hit that big backdrop suplex on Danielson.
He's back to his feet. Boot to the midsection off the ropes. Boot to the side of the head.
Follows it up with a flying knee right to the temple.
But Danielson able to kick out. Jacobs still out of it on the floor as Whitmer and Danielson continue to fight.
Jimmy Jacobs almost lifeless on the floor as he tries to pull his way in. Nice German suplex from Whitmer, hangs on, and now he's got a full Nelson.
For the Dragon suplex. Broken, Dragon suplex from the American Dragon. Nice bridge, but he can't keep his shoulders down for three. Looks like he might be going for cattle mutilation here, and Whitmer realizes it. He's trying to work his way out of this position. Danielson going after the arms of Whitmer.
Danielson desperately fighting to butterfly the arms, and there it is. Flips himself over. Nice bridge. He's got the cattle mutilation. Will Whitmer tap out.
Gonna have the hands locked. Jacobs with a 2 count on Danielson after breaking up the cattle mutilation on Whitmer. Going for the O'Connor roll, can't get it. Up on the shoulders, Jimmy Jacobs, look at this show of power. He's got BJ up. Death Valley driver covered. Oh, so close to Jacobs eliminating EJ Whitmer from this match.
What an unbelievable counter to the leapfrog that was by Jimmy Jacobs. All that strength, able to hit the fireman's carry and drop BJ Whitmer right on his head.
So impressive. You don't expect someone like Jacobs to be able to do that to someone the size of Whitmer. Contra code. But no, Whitmer holds his ground and places Jacobs up top. Danielson shoves Whitmer down to the canvas. Takes his attention to Jimmy Jacobs. Maybe looking for the belly-to-back superplex. Jacobs trying to elbow his way out of this position. Up on the shoulders of Whitmer is Danielson. Doomsday Rana, a maneuver that earned many tag team victories for the team of Whitmer and Jacobs, can't put Danielson away and eliminate him from this title match.
And Jacobs and Whitmer, they may not be teammates any longer, but it's almost as if they can't help working as a tandem at times, as Whitmer almost takes Jacobs' head off.
Oh, but he kicked out. Whitmer got all of that lariat, but Jimmy Jacobs still able to stay in this. And BJ Whitmer pointing to the corner. Oh, that's the same corner as last time here in Detroit when they both tumbled to the floor, crashed and burned, and Whitmer. The fans chanting, "Please don't die!" And oh no, Whitmer's telling the fans to move out of the way in that corner. Last week in Manhattan, he powerbombed Jacobs over the barricade into the crowd. He's gonna do it again. This is what they'll do to earn the world title. Crouched on the turnbuckle. Jacobs now going for a super contra code, it looks like. Whitmer trying to fight out of this position. Whitmer trying to get the advantage. Looking for that powerbomb into the crowd once again. Can he get it? Oh, but Danielson from behind. Jacobs pounding away on the head of Whitmer.
BJ Whitmer has been eliminated.
Super contra code off the shoulders of Bryan Danielson, and BJ Whitmer, the first man eliminated from the world title matchup.
Bryan Danielson had a powerbomb too on Whitmer, and both men went for the cover. And Whitmer had no chance there after taking such a blow. And now there's only 2 men left, Dave, as Bryan Danielson and Jimmy Jacobs will continue to do battle for the ROH World title.
I want to talk about Colt Cabana tomorrow night having the opportunity to go after the world title in his hometown. Jimmy Jacobs is right here in the state of Michigan in front of his home fans. And now he has a golden opportunity against Bryan Danielson. It's one-on-one now. Whitmer out of the matchup. Can Jimmy Jacobs take the title?
BJ Whitmer being helped to the back after taking that double team super contra code powerbomb.
Oh, it would be such an upset if Jimmy Jacobs could win the matchup here tonight and take the title from Danielson. Lacey sees this as a great opportunity as well. Always looking to profit off of what Jimmy Jacobs can do in the ring.
certainly Jimmy Jacobs' profitability would skyrocket if he could walk out tonight as the ROH World Champion.
Danielson getting very aggressive, kicking away at the midsection on the handshake, and now chopping away at the chest of Jimmy Jacobs in the corner. Danielson was successfully able to last through the first man in this matchup. Can he last through a second in the same evening to walk into Chicago still wearing the title? As Jacobs hung up on that top rope and connects with a drop kick, which sends Jacobs into the barricade.
He hit that drop kick right to the top of the head of Jimmy Jacobs. And Jimmy Jacobs could be concussed on the outside.
Danielson steps through the ropes and out to the floor to continue the assault. Jimmy Jacobs sent head over heels into the steel. And now Danielson with the chair, lays it over the head and stomps away on the chair, driving it into the head of Jimmy Jacobs.
We're starting to see a little bit of the mean streak of Bryan Danielson.
He'll do whatever it takes to hold on to that belt. Draws a warning from Todd Sinclair. He's not going to let himself be pushed around, not even by the world champion.
Fans at ringside asking Danielson to send Jacobs into the guardrail, and Danielson very politely declining.
He doesn't let anybody tell him how to wrestle, not these fans. He wrestles his own matches by his own rules and makes his own decisions. And right now his decision is put away Jimmy Jacobs as quickly as possible. He brings the action back inside the ring, going to work on the face.
Open hand chops to the nose of Jimmy Jacobs.
Now just tearing away at the nose. Another open hand strike to the face. Interesting strategy from the champion. Lacey looks concerned on the floor, but I don't know if she's too concerned about Jimmy Jacobs' looks, because I don't think she's really in love with him. Drives the knee down, does Danielson. Lateral press. Jacobs kicks out.
Well, whether she's in love with Jimmy Jacobs or not, you got to think he'd be a lot more desirable if he had that gold around his waist. Jimmy Jacobs trying to fight back with that elbow, but sent crashing to the mat again by Bryan Danielson.
Be in love with having the contract of the ROH World Champion. As now Jacobs throat first on the second rope, taking full advantage of the referee's 5 count.
Blood now dripping from that nose. It could be broken after that series of palm strikes right to the nose by Danielson. Absolutely brutal, and now a kick to the stomach. Or it may have been a little low, I'm not sure.
I can't even watch this.
Lacey can't even watch this. Not too happy with Jimmy Jacobs showing at the moment as Danielson is in control.
Danielson now heading up top. Could be looking for the swan dive headbutt.
Jacobs still on his back.
Headbutt connects to the shoulder, hook of the leg. But not quite enough.
Oh, he's going for counter mutilation. Jacobs' boot reaches the ropes to force a break. He was able to withstand the pain and reach the ropes. Jacobs wants the world title so badly. And the supporters of Jimmy Jacobs here in Detroit voicing their support, as well as the supporters of the American Dragon.
Shot to the breadbasket by Jimmy Jacobs. Not enough to stun the champion. And Jimmy Jacobs now just grabbing the ankle, trying to pull himself up. But I'm not sure if he has enough left.
Clinging to the leg of Bryan Danielson. taking his time here, measures in for the forearm strike. And another. Jacobs out on his feet, comes roaring, but Jimmy Jacobs takes him down with the tackle. Speared him down to the canvas. As Lacey encourages Jacobs to get back to his feet.
Danielson may have taken a little too much time going for that spinning elbow, as Jacobs had the opportunity and was able to take down Danielson.
Blocks the attempt and connects with a series of strikes of his own. Forearms to the American Dragon. Step up Enziguri. Jacobs cradles the leg. Fishman neckbreaker into a small package, but only two.
Jimmy Jacobs trying to do whatever he can here to secure the ROH World title.
And now fired up into his second win. Chopping away at the chest of the champ. Danielson into the buckle. Jacobs charges right into the boot.
Danielson up to the second rope. It gets caught with a spear in midair. How close was that? Jimmy Jacobs almost pinning the champion, but not quite enough. Danielson finds a way to kick out. Jacobs gets to his feet first.
Jacobs sends his victory contra code. No, blocked by Danielson. Slap right across the face. Going for the Regalplex. And he gets it, folds him in half. Oh, 2 3/4. Going for the cross-face chicken wing. Jacobs trying to fight his way out of it. Elbows to the side of the head of Danielson. Reaches the ropes. And releases the hold. Danielson with Jacobs by the hair. Looking to elevate him up top.
See it in the face of Bryan Danielson, trying to contemplate his next move. Will it be the backdrop superplex?
Palm strike from Jacobs, and again. A series. Super contra code. Can it earn him the world title? No! Danielson holds on. Sunset flip off the top. Oh, so close! So close for Jimmy Jacobs. Giving it all he's got here. Trying to dig down for some more energy. Both men feeling the effects of a hard-fought matchup. Is this Jimmy Jacobs' night? Can Danielson last through 2 challengers in one evening?
Jacobs got up to his feet first. Now both men trading forearms.
Jacobs ducks. Palm strike of his own. Contra code. Gets it. Not quite enough. Danielson kicks out at the last split second. These fans here in Detroit sense the title change right there, but Jacobs couldn't get him.
Jacobs hit all of the contra code. He had the leg hooked. He can't allow himself to get discouraged here.
Is he going cattle mutilation, using Danielson's own move against him? Danielson rolls it over though, trying to counter his way out of it. Jacobs still with the arms of Bryan Danielson, driven into the buckle though. And drives Jacobs back first into the turnbuckles once again. A third time. Jacobs peeled out of the corner, back to his feet. Connects with the forearm, does the champion. And now elbows to the side of the head. This could be it. Will Sinclair stop the match? No. Cross-face chicken wing. Cinched in the middle of the ring. Great effort by Jimmy Jacobs, but Bryan Danielson can't back up his claim. It means it takes place in the Windy City, and these two men will do whatever it takes to earn the victory, use whatever they can get their hands on, and unleash punishment on one another. Colt Cabana with the Chicago flag in hand, taking on Jimmy Jacobs, trying to run away from Cabana's onslaught. He knows what he's got coming to him.
Cabana with a chair in hand as well. Pair of chairs now. He dropped the flag, and now he's got the chairs as he makes his way into the ring. Jimmy Jacobs nowhere to run in this building, nowhere to hide from Colt Cabana. This thing's gonna get settled one way or the other tonight.
Swinging that chair wildly and just launching it. Jimmy Jacobs doesn't know where he's gonna be able to go as they just pound away on each other. The short and sweet story of the history between these two men. Colt Cabana had his relationship with Lacey. Jimmy Jacobs couldn't believe it. And Colt Cabana eventually offering his own friendship to try to get Jimmy Jacobs away from Lacey. And you know, the way that she was using Jimmy Jacobs. But instead, he chose to stay with Lacey for whatever reason, and what resulted was months of violence between these two men. It has escalated, and it brings us here to Chicago in the Windy City Death Match in Cabana's hometown.
For whatever reason, the reason is this kid's absolutely out of his mind, obsessed with Lacey. And he will do whatever she asks, whenever she asks, because she's completely got him wrapped around her finger. She takes complete advantage of this kid, mistreats him because she knows how absolutely insane in love with her he is.
Head first into the barricade, but the question is, what has Jacobs been whispering into Lacey's ear lately?
I have absolutely no idea, but he seemed to like it, whatever it was. But he can't like what's going on here as he eats the steel barricade on the outside. Cabana with a handful of hair is now sending him to the other side, face first into the steel.
It was right here in Chicago that Jacobs made the decision to stick with Lacey rather than walk out in friendship with Colt Cabana. And it's right here in Chicago that they're looking to settle the score with one another here. Pounding away on the back of Jimmy Jacobs. He's got the ring announcer's table.
Hard right hand, another one from Cabana. Jacobs in a prone position on that table. Cabana back in the ring, looking to climb to the top.
But Lacey up on the apron, grabs hold of the foot of Colt Cabana and try to put a stop to him putting Jacobs through the table. And down goes Lacey.
Stop me if you've heard that before.
Wow. Comes charging at Cabana, and he's got...
I think you've seen this one before too.
Yeah, in the shower. Lacey rolling away from Colt Cabana, but that gives Jimmy Jacobs the opportunity to clip the leg of Cabana from behind.
Oh, and look at the pleased look on her face as Jacobs clips the knee. It's that cocky, disgusting smile, just so full of herself.
Shouting more instructions for Jimmy Jacobs to fire away on Colt Cabana. To continue to do her bidding like he has been doing for months now. Being manipulated by Lacey, and now, oh, she's gonna go after the testicular region of Cabana. There's Daizee Haze! Daizee Haze with Lacey! Mind trip, sends her right into the canvas. Daizee Haze is taking Lacey out of this matchup. It's gonna be between Jimmy Jacobs and Colt Cabana.
These ladies are going at it on the aisleway here. Lacey running away as the Haze is chasing her through the curtain.
Well, now Lacey won't get involved in this matchup, won't put a stop to Colt Cabana doing whatever he has in mind to Jimmy Jacobs.
Oh, he's gonna hurt Jimmy Jacobs here and hurt him pretty bad if he can. He's got him hung upside down in the corner. Nowhere for Jacobs to go. Cabana out on the floor, looking to go under the ring.
Looking for some plunder is Colt Cabana.
Makes his way to the other side. Apparently he misplaced whatever it is he's looking for. There's a ladder.
All sorts of weapons underneath the ring that can be put to use in this Windy City Death Match.
The ladder would be much more dangerous than the cardboard box that he moved out of the way.
Baseball slide drop kick connecting with the ladder and sending Cabana down to the floor. Good thinking on Jimmy Jacobs' part. As soon as he saw Cabana had the ladder in hand, took him off his feet, with the ladder crashing down on top of Cabana.
Cabana on the floor, Jacobs on the apron, delivers the elbow to the top of the head, and a big right hand right on the jaw. And another from Jacobs connects. Squarely on the face of Colt Cabana and pitches him back into the ring. Jacobs underneath the bottom rope.
Well, this one is going to get violent between these two men, the hatred between one another.
Cabana staggered against the ropes, struggling to stand upright. Another right hand from Jacobs, and now a boot to the midsection. Cabana struggling to catch his breath as well. You see him gasping for air as he hits the ropes. Elbow to the top of the head.
Gets full force to the head of Jimmy Jacobs. Colt Cabana standing tall here in Chicago.
Wait a second, he busted him open. Jimmy Jacobs has been lacerated as Colt Cabana continues to drive his elbow to the top of the head of Jimmy Jacobs. Wait a second, he's got scissors in the armband.
Well, that explains how an elbow busted Jimmy Jacobs open. I was wondering how that even took place, but scissors being put to use by Cabana. The blade right into the head of Jimmy Jacobs.
Blood now pouring into the eyes of Jimmy Jacobs. That right eye, and it's just pouring out of his forehead now.
Just pouring onto his chest.
Jimmy Jacobs is in big, big trouble here in the corner, and Colt Cabana again grinds those scissors right into the face and the forehead of Jimmy Jacobs.
Hey, this is all warranted. They went after Cabana. Whoa, he just went to stab Jimmy Jacobs with those scissors, and they're right stuck in the turnbuckle.
And that allowed Jacobs to take that chair and crack it on the back of the head of Colt Cabana, but the face of Jimmy Jacobs is already beginning to turn into the proverbial crimson mask.
And Jacobs now going into his boot for that trusty railroad spike that he likes to put to use.
It's not there, though. He's having trouble looking for it. It's not there. Where's the spike?
Cabana back to his feet.
Cabana's got the spike.
One step ahead of Jimmy Jacobs. And he spikes him right into that lacerated forehead. The blood continues to flow out of the head of Jimmy Jacobs, and now Cabana choking away. I'll remind you that it was Jimmy Jacobs and Lacey that went after the nuts of Colt Cabana, so all of this violence is definitely warranted.
Jimmy Jacobs is definitely going to need medical attention when this match is over. He is losing a ton of blood, pouring down his face and onto his chest. He is absolutely covered in that life-giving fluid, and he is almost out on his feet now from the loss of blood in this matchup.
You gotta wonder how much longer Jacobs is gonna be able to continue in this matchup, losing blood at this pace. The Chicago flag driven into the midsection and clubbing down with the flagpole across the back.
Oh, the blood from Jacobs just flying out into the crowd here as well.
Some souvenirs on the clothing of the fans here in Chicago, courtesy of Jimmy Jacobs.
Cabana making his way into the ring. Jacobs kicks the middle rope and catches Cabana right in the crotch.
Once again, the bloody Chicago flag now in the possession of Jimmy Jacobs.
You got to give Jimmy Jacobs credit, pardon me, Dave, to take this kind of punishment and still keep coming back.
And breaks the flagpole over the back of Colt Cabana, and now he's
got two weapons now.
And jagged edges on that from where they broke as well to stab away at Colt Cabana himself. A little bit of retribution from Jimmy Jacobs after Cabana did all that damage with the scissors and the spike. And Cabana has been busted open as well.
Right across the top of the head with that flagpole again.
Those jagged edges of wood just driven into the lacerated head of Colt Cabana now by Jimmy Jacobs. You knew this one was going to get violent.
Choking away now with that flagpole around the throat. Cabana losing a ton of blood himself now. Both of these athletes laying it all on the line here.
It's just dripping off of his face. Colt Cabana busted open, perhaps even worse than Jimmy Jacobs a few moments ago. Now using the Chicago flag to wipe the blood out of his eyes. And choking Colt Cabana with the Chicago flag. You know how much Chicago means to Colt Cabana. What a bloodbath between these two men. Look at the blood just dripping off the face of Colt Cabana. And Jimmy Jacobs wearing the Chicago flag.
Just mocking Cabana with that flag covered in Cabana's own blood. Measuring with a right hand.
Cabana staying on his feet, though. Jacobs now.
The spike right to the forehead. That railroad spike just driven into the already lacerated forehead of Colt Cabana. And again now just digging it into the flesh of Cabana.
More carnage at the hands of Jimmy Jacobs and the spike. We've seen him pull that out several times throughout his career here in ROH. When the feuds have gotten very vicious and things have heated up. And he swings the chair like a baseball bat at Colt Cabana's head.
Cabana partially blocking it with his hands, but the damage still done. Slumped against the ropes. Thrust to the throat by Jacobs, drops Cabana, and a right hand to the top of the head. We knew this one was gonna be violent, and it has not failed to live up to expectations. Series of stomps to the chair, and an elbow right across the chair on the chest of Colt Cabana. And the blood continues to pour from the open wound in his forehead.
Cover! But Cabana right back up, he's not gonna go down. Look at the blood pouring off the face of Colt Cabana.
There are no winners in a match like this. There are only survivors, because both of these guys are going to end up in the hospital at the end of the night. The only question is which one is going to be hurt just a little bit worse.
Blocking the attempt, Cabana firing back on Jimmy Jacobs, blocks it once again.
Tries to jam that stick into his throat again, but Cabana able to block it partially. Looking for the contra code.
Going up. But no, Cabana staying on his feet. Waistlock by Jacobs. Cabana holds on. And comes charging out of the corner with the scissors.
The scissors that were stuck in the top turnbuckle earlier on. Cabana able to retrieve them and just jam them into the face of Jimmy Jacobs.
Look at the blood-covered face of Colt Cabana. He has the scissors in hand. Going on instinct right now. He sees Jimmy Jacobs in front of him begging for mercy. Tosses the scissors aside. He's just gonna beat the hell out of him.
Jacobs made the mistake, took his eyes off Cabana, looking at the scissors in the air, and he got caught.
Winds up. And down goes Jimmy Jacobs.
Now Cabana's got the chair. Jacobs with his back turned.
Huge chair shot to the head of Jimmy Jacobs. He's lifeless on the canvas.
Cabana struggling to keep his balance, out on his feet from the loss of blood. He says that's it. He sees Jacobs down. Picking him back up by the hair.
He'll be looking to finish him off. Colt 45. He's calling for it. Butterflying the arms. Trying to get him up. But what's this from the locker room? Brent Albright.
The gun for hire.
Half Nelson suplex on Cabana. Lacey paid off Brent Albright to do damage for her and Jimmy Jacobs. But no!
Cabana able to kick out. And it's BJ Whitmer to even the odds. Whitmer and Albright going at it. Jacobs from behind on Whitmer. Ripping away at the face. The blood continues to pour from the forehead of Colt Cabana, and BJ Whitmer is in trouble. Held by Albright. Jacobs has the chair. Boot to the midsection by Whitmer.
Frees himself from that position, and out to the floor goes Brent Albright. Whitmer pounding away on Jimmy Jacobs. They still have their history.
Former partners, former tag team champions.
Both
Both go to the floor.
over the top, all the way out to the floor. Whitmer and Jacobs have that Falls Count Anywhere match next week in Liverpool.
How much is going to be left of Jimmy Jacobs after this match? Cabana now making his way to the outside.
Acai moonsault. Loss of blood and all, still with enough balance to hit the acai moonsault. You gotta hand it to Cabana. Both he and Jimmy Jacobs have lost a lot of blood during the course of this matchup, and it's not over yet.
Oh, these two athletes just going on fumes here. It's guts and instinct alone and pure hatred for the other guy in this matchup. That's the only thing keeping these two guys going.
Looking underneath the ring once again is Colt Cabana.
He's got a hammer. He just pulled a hammer out from under the ring and he's got that spike in the other hand.
Oh no!
He's got Jacobs lying in the center of the ring, no idea what's to come. He's got a spike in one hand and a hammer in the other. Jacobs, well, he missed the spike, but he just nailed him in the head with a hammer.
Well, that'll do the trick. You don't necessarily need to hammer the spike into his head. You'll do damage with the hammer itself. That's exactly what Cabana just did to Jimmy Jacobs.
He may have just cracked the skull of Jimmy Jacobs with that hammer.
Pulling him up. Cabana with Jacobs into the corner.
Trying to get some momentum here, but from behind.
And now the chair.
Flying chair!
Just launched at Jimmy Jacobs.
Jacobs able to get his foot up there and try and block it at the last second. Glancing blow from that chair. Another one, this one connects right in the face. Unable to block that second chair toss. Jacobs just ate the steel chair.
Cabana now with Jimmy Jacobs. Body slam in the middle of the ring. He's got the chair once again, laying it across the chest of Jimmy Jacobs. Driving it into the midsection and laying that chair across Jacobs. Cabana now climbing up top. Moonsault from Cabana down across the chair and down across Jacobs.
Both men putting their bodies on the line. A cover!
Jacobs kicks out. How did he kick out? So much punishment absorbed by both men in this match, and Jacobs kicks out of the moonsault with the chair across his chest.
Cabana a bloody mess as he crawls back to the floor. Handful of Jacobs' foot as he drags him out with him.
He's got another table here at ringside he's looking to put to use.
He's lost a lot of blood and obviously a lot of strength. He's having trouble moving that table due to the loss of blood.
It's all about the adrenaline flowing through Colt Cabana at this point, that he was able to even get like the balance on the top rope to hit that moonsault. Now trying to find the weapons that he wants to put to use against Jimmy Jacobs.
Jacobs may have broken ribs from that moonsault as well. You see him gasping for air, can't even get back to his feet. Cabana moving that one table out of the way, trying to get to the underneath part of the ring. Sets that table up. Look at Colt Cabana's face. You can no longer see the white of his face, completely covered in red.
And all that time he spent focusing on the table allowed Jimmy Jacobs to get back to his feet and fire back on Cabana as they exchange out on the floor. Cabana almost draped on that table, pulling Jimmy Jacobs off the apron, firing away once again.
Now he's got that flagpole right in the eye. Jamming that flagpole into the eye and the forehead. Jacobs now lying prone on that table and just dumped on the floor.
The legs of the table couldn't withstand the weight of Jimmy Jacobs, and Colt Cabana pounding down on him. And Cabana now, he's got the ladder here.
Unable to use it the first time. He got caught with a baseball drop kick. Now trying to set the ladder up between the ring and the guardrail. Jacobs trying to pick that table back up. Cabana with a clubbing shot to the back.
Oh, he's trying to lay Jacobs on top of that table. The leg collapses once again, but he has the ladder exactly where he wanted it. And he's gonna pull Jimmy Jacobs over there to inflict punishment.
Jacobs trying to fight him off. Right hand from Jacobs. Cabana leaning on the ladder as Jacobs once again grabs another table from underneath the ring.
You see, Jacobs keeps going back toward the table. That's what he has in mind. Cabana keeps going back to the ladder. That's what he wants to use. Back and forth, the match is gone, and now they're just fighting over who gets to use the weapon of their choice.
The blood continues to just pour off of the face of Colt Cabana. He's got a chair. Drives it to the top of the head of Jimmy Jacobs. Now Jacobs on the table. Cabana climbing to the apron.
All the way up top goes Colt Cabana. Can he get his balance with this loss of blood? Oh, Lacey back out. Launches Cabana, crotches him on the top rope. Lacey returns and does more damage to Colt Cabana, saving Jimmy Jacobs from being put through that table by Cabana.
Now it's Cabana kicked onto the table by Lacey. Jacobs on the floor. Lacey making her way out to the floor. Cabana on that table, absolutely covered in his own blood. Chop to the back from Lacey. Jacobs back in the ring.
Lacey barking orders at Jimmy Jacobs, telling him what to do. He's got Cabana laid out on that table.
He's got that ladder back in the ring now.
Lacey making sure that he stays on that table as Jimmy Jacobs sets up the ladder inside the ring.
What does he have in mind for Colt Cabana? Setting that ladder up next to the ropes. Lacey making her way back to the ring, steadying the ladder for Jacobs as he climbs his way up. Senton off the ladder through the table. Jacobs just sacrificed his body for Lacey.
Such great height on the ladder, soaring all the way to the floor and putting Colt Cabana through the table. And now Lacey and Jacobs rolling. Cabana inside the ring. Jacobs with the cover. What could Lacey be whispering, and Jacobs here to make him do that? And Cabana kicking out. Unbelievable.
Jacobs back out on the floor, again trying to rearrange the furniture. Calling Lacey over for some help with that table. Somehow Cabana able to kick out, but he is unable to even get to his feet at this point. Just crawling his way, trying to get his hands on Jimmy Jacobs if he can.
He might not be able to stand, but he's not going to allow himself to be defeated by Jimmy Jacobs here in Chicago.
To his knees, Jacobs with that table now trying to set it up in the corner. Lacey still barking orders from the floor. Cabana on his knees, he gets punted right in the rib cage.
Blood still pouring out of the head of Jimmy Jacobs as he inflicts more punishment on Cabana. Table set up in the corner. Cabana struggling to his feet.
Jacobs went for the spear. Cabana able to avoid him and sends him crashing face first through the table.
Colt Cabana crawling toward Jimmy Jacobs. These fans here in Chicago encouraging Cabana to get back to his feet. Lacey up on the ring apron, yelling at Jimmy Jacobs. Lacey, the jilted lover of Colt Cabana. She's got her high heel shoe. Cabana puts on the brakes and tosses Lacey down. He's got the shoe to the head of Jimmy Jacobs. To the throat. Payback. Lariat. Colt 45. Hits it. He's got Lacey. Colt 45 for Lacey. He hits it. Jimmy Jacobs comes diving through the door of the steel cage, wiping out BJ Whitmer. This match is on. The steel cage showdown. This rivalry, this war between BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs has raged on for over a year, and tonight they will settle it in the steel cage here in Detroit.
Not even waiting for BJ Whitmer to make his entrance. Jimmy Jacobs going right out after him on the floor. Big elbow using the chair as a springboard. He's got a wall ball, just kicks him across the top of the head of BJ Whitmer. This one isn't about wins. It isn't about losses. It's about hurting one another. And Lacey wants Jimmy Jacobs to take BJ Whitmer out tonight.
BJ Whitmer wants to take out Jimmy Jacobs just as badly, as now they're working their way inside of the steel cage. And the cage door will be opened at their request to introduce weapons into this matchup. Anything goes in this steel cage showdown.
Forearm to the back by Whitmer. He's going to send him to the cage. Oh, right off the bat, Whitmer was looking to introduce the steel cage into this matchup, but Jacobs put on the brakes. Now it's Whitmer being sent for the ride, and Whitmer puts on the brakes.
Whitmer with Jacobs. Again, trying to protect themselves from being sent into the steel.
Steel cage can do serious damage if introduced into this matchup, and sooner or later, someone is going to meet the steel, and someone is going to bleed, and most likely it's going to be both of these guys.
Jimmy Jacobs driven into the cage by BJ Whitmer. Pulling him up off the canvas, chop right across the chest of Jimmy Jacobs. BJ Whitmer with Jimmy Jacobs right into the turnbuckle.
Right hand, elbow to the back of the head now by Whitmer on Jacobs. Handful of hair, and now he's going to get sent head over heels into the steel cage.
And of course, Lacey has been manipulating Jimmy Jacobs for months and months, just using him. But last night, she said that she saw Jimmy Jacobs deserved a hug finally. She's been whispering things in his ear that have made Jimmy Jacobs very happy as of late. And tonight, if he's able to take Whitmer out once and for all, Jimmy Jacobs thinks he might be ready for something more.
Well, she said there would be much more to come if he was able to take out BJ Whitmer tonight. What much more is, I don't know, but we might find out here tonight. I know Jimmy Jacobs is certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's going to give him all the more determination to do exactly what Lacey wants and take Whitmer out. And now, it looks like we're going to see some weapons introduced into this matchup.
BJ Whitmer looking towards Daisy Hayes for some assistance as Jacobs again tossed over the top rope and into the steel cage.
Head first into the steel goes Jacobs, as now we got a steel chair into the cage at the request of Whitmer.
Jacobs trying to block it with his hands, gets the feet up and saves himself momentarily. A second time, Whitmer had it swung right at the face of Jimmy Jacobs, but he was able to save himself with his feet. But now getting the boots put to him in the corner by BJ Whitmer.
Good defense on Jacobs' part, avoiding that chair colliding with his head. And now Whitmer with the chair once again.
Setting it across the face now of Jacobs in position in the corner. Had a steam and a drop kick into the chair as it crashes into the side of the head of Jimmy Jacobs.
Doing a whole lot of damage. And Jacobs kicking away at that chair. Just connected with Whitmer, and Lacey very happy.
Extremely pleased on the outside anytime any damage is done to BJ Whitmer. Jacobs, handful of hair now, trying to set Whitmer in position, driving him face first to the steel chair right in the center of the ring. Turns him over, Whitmer now lying on that chair. Jacobs off the ropes, goes for the elbow, nobody home.
Elbow right into the steel chair. And Whitmer just waiting for Jacobs, huge spine buster.
Right across the chair with his back. Jacobs feeling the effects, and Whitmer quickly trying to capitalize, has that chair set up. Seated position in the center of the ring. Changes his mind now. Might be looking to take another swing at the head of Jimmy Jacobs, and connects right on top of the head.
As you've seen during their feud, these two men have tried to cripple one another. And tonight in this cage, with the addition of the weapons involved and everything, you just might see that happen. Just how much damage these two want to do to one another. This is the perfect setting for them to finally settle the score.
Jimmy Jacobs in trouble in the corner, grabbing at his mouth. Feeling the effects of BJ Whitmer. Bloody mouth. Oh, it looks like he's missing some teeth.
BJ Whitmer, it looks like he knocked out some teeth on Jimmy Jacobs. His front tooth is missing.
Blood starting to flow from the mouth as well, from that spot where the tooth used to be. Jacobs in trouble here. Reversal, goes behind, lands on his feet, ducks the clothesline, drop toe hold, and Whitmer hits the chair.
Face first into the chair goes Whitmer, as Lacey and Daisy Hayes look on for their respective wrestlers. No love lost between Lacey and Daisy Hayes. You saw them brawl last night as part of the mixed tag team Anything Goes matchup.
Jacobs sending Lacey now to get some weapons. Now that BJ Whitmer is down and feeling the effects. See the mangled tooth of Jimmy Jacobs, courtesy of BJ Whitmer. Oh, wait a second, here comes the, oh, it's the railroad spike.
The spike of Jimmy Jacobs.
BJ's going into his boot. What's BJ got? That's usually where Jimmy Jacobs keeps a spike, but BJ's got one.
Both men armed with spikes. It's a standoff. And they both connect, both stabbing one another right in the head.
Railroad spike right to the top of the head of each athlete. The Hayes looking on, trying to see if BJ Whitmer is okay. Jacobs in the corner, Whitmer crawling to the far corner. I think both these guys have been busted open.
They both have connected with the railroad spike, and BJ Whitmer, blood pouring out of his head at the hands of Jimmy Jacobs and that spike.
These two have spilled blood on more than one occasion tonight, no different. This is absolutely barbaric. Both men driving the spikes right to their forehead. Blood just pouring out of their heads.
You knew this match was going to be violent, and both men just stabbing repeatedly at the forehead of their opponent.
This is no longer, this has not been about wins and losses for some time, but they are taking it to an entirely new level of violence.
And this is exactly what needed to happen between these two men to finally settle the score.
Lacey and the Hayes jawing at each other on the floor.
Jacobs trying to fire himself up here.
By jabbing himself in the head with a spike, this guy's out of his mind.
We knew that a long time ago. Firing away on BJ Whitmer. BJ strikes back.
Jacobs will do anything for Lacey.
Whitmer now with Jacobs. Powerbombed right into the corner.
Lands on his feet. Big boot. Running kick from Whitmer connects.
But the blood is still pouring out of the head of BJ Whitmer. Trying his best to see where he's at. The blood clouding his vision and telling Daisy Hayes to send for some more weapons.
Yeah, the blood seeping into the left eye of BJ Whitmer. Definitely having trouble seeing.
Jimmy Jacobs having trouble getting back to his feet. What do we?
Oh, it's a barbed wire baseball bat.
A barbed wire baseball bat.
Just when you think these guys can't go any further.
They do. Swims ducks. Kicks the bat out of the hands of BJ Whitmer. Takes Jacobs off his feet, stomping away now. The barbed wire bat inside the cage now. As Whitmer with Jimmy Jacobs. Irish whip, into the buckle he goes. Running forearm. Jacobs grabbing the bat, barbed wire right into the face of BJ Whitmer. He cut his own hand, inflicting that damage.
He just drove the shards of that barbed wire right into the already lacerated forehead of BJ Whitmer.
Jacobs with the bat.
Right into the arm.
Barbed wire right to the arm, full swing, and now he's got the barbed wire in his mouth. Jimmy Jacobs is one sick individual.
He has absolutely lost it here. Lacey has driven him insane. She has finally pushed him over the edge.
Look at that, look at Jimmy Jacobs. Hanging barbed wire bat hanging from his hair, and now digging the barbed wire to the arm. Just tearing away at the flesh of BJ Whitmer.
Blood now pouring from the arm as well as the forehead.
I agree with the crowd. Jacobs now, he's got the spike. He's licking the blood off of BJ Whitmer's face.
Oh, and he just spit it back at him. He's got that spike still in his hand.
This is what it's come to between these men. He's got both spikes.
BJ Whitmer is in serious trouble here.
Blood pouring out of his arm, out of his head. Jacobs now with both spikes.
Just jabbing him in the arm and jabbing him in the forehead, and there's nothing BJ can do to stop it. The pain just coursing through his body, and a sting right into the head.
Oh, BJ Whitmer is in a bad way. Blood pouring out of various places in his body, his head, his arm, his chest. And Jacobs has got that barbed wire bat once again.
Neither one of these guys will ever be the same after tonight. That is the one certain thing that's going to come out of this matchup.
He's got the chair as well, the spike in his mouth.
There is no telling how far Jimmy Jacobs is going to go to do Lacey's bidding. Face first into the barbed wire bat. Just driving the forehead of BJ Whitmer into that bat. Setting him in position. He's got the chair. BJ Whitmer is almost out.
Chair shot just driving his face into the barbed wire.
BJ Whitmer is an absolute mess.
Jacobs grabbing that chair once again. Looking to do more damage, blowing a kiss to Lacey.
Lacey saying, never mind that now. Go back to work. Get back to BJ Whitmer.
She wants him taken out once and for all. And Jacobs is on the right path of doing just that with the damage he's done to Whitmer thus far. He is a bloody, disgusting mess.
Jacobs taking his time, just stalking Whitmer now. Again with both of those spikes as Whitmer struggles just to get to his feet. And again, just digging that steel spike right into his face.
Just carving up BJ Whitmer, going back to work on that arm. That was cut open by the barbed wire baseball bat. Now doing more damage with the spike on that arm.
How much more punishment can BJ Whitmer take? Jacobs trying to gather his thoughts here.
Oh, look at BJ Whitmer. Stitches are going to be needed on several parts of his body, his arms, his head. Trying to get back to his feet, and Jacobs using his blood as like war paint.
Lacey applauding on the outside. Jacobs now talking junk. Whitmer can't even stand. He's lost so much blood, he can't even get to his feet. Headbutt sends him back down to the canvas.
Another headbutt. This crowd encouraging BJ Whitmer on here to get back to his feet, fire back on Jimmy Jacobs.
I've seen crowds encourage BJ to do incredible things before, but I have never seen anybody come back from a beating like this. But somehow he's back to his feet.
And firing back on Jimmy Jacobs. Combination of forearms from Jacobs. Big spear, but nobody home. He collides with the chair.
Back to his feet. Exploder! Where does BJ Whitmer have the energy?
It's all because of his hatred for Jimmy Jacobs. That's what's keeping him going in this match, despite the blood loss, despite being sliced open at the hands of Jacobs.
The hatred for each other is what's going to send both of these guys to the hospital before this is all said and done. Look at the blood all over the body of Jimmy Jacobs as well.
Some of his own, some of Whitmer's. Both men physically paying the price in this match.
Trouble standing, loss of balance and equilibrium. Hit scissors!
Rolls all the way through. Whitmer with Jacobs right into the steel cage, back first.
The back of his head bouncing off the steel. Whitmer now has the barbed wire bat. Once to the midsection. One more to the back.
And Jacobs feeling the effect of the barbed wire now himself. Whitmer going after that chair. Places it in the center of the ring. Whitmer now with some momentum on his side.
Going on absolute adrenaline and hatred alone here. Jacobs sitting in the chair. The barbed wire driven into the flesh on his forehead by BJ Whitmer.
Whitmer getting some retribution on Jacobs for the damage done with that barbed wire bat earlier in the matchup. Now he's got that chair set up.
Struggling, both men trying to fight. Shots to the midsection. Brainbuster on the chair, and somehow Jacobs gets the shoulder up.
The impact of that brainbuster completely destroyed the chair. Imagine what it did to Jimmy Jacobs. Referee checking on the condition of both these men, both suffering tremendous blood loss in this match. And now Daisy Hayes.
Jacobs trying to get out. Excuse me, Whitmer trying to get out.
The cage door slammed on the head. And now Jacobs with that barbed wire bat once again. Only two. Jacobs going up top. Whitmer on his back.
Burst of energy from Jacobs. The backsplash.
Cover. Only two.
Again, BJ Whitmer somehow able to get the shoulder up.
Both men feeling the effects of this violent and brutal war inside the steel cage. Barbed wire, chairs, railroad spikes. No matter what they've done, they keep kicking out, they keep fighting.
The absolute hatred these two share for one another knows no bounds. And again, the railroad spike to the forehead of BJ Whitmer.
Jacobs back to his feet. He's got Whitmer back in a standing position now. Backed into the corner, placing him up top.
Get him, BJ. Kick him in the face.
Both these men have lost an amazing amount of blood here, and yet they still continue. Jacobs blowing another kiss to Lacey.
Bloody mess, lost some teeth, but it's all about Lacey. That's all he's thinking about is Lacey. Up to the top. Trying for the Rana. Whitmer holds on.
Jacobs hanging on to the top of the cage. But gets dropped right across the top turnbuckle. Whitmer from behind. German suplex. Hangs on. Still controls it.
Dragon suplex.
Still hanging on. Has him set up. Powerbomb. Folding press. Jackknife pin.
No, only two.
The momentum of Whitmer unable to hold the jackknife sent him over the top, and Jacobs able to get the shoulder up. Almost more so from the momentum of BJ Whitmer than anything Jimmy Jacobs did in sheer exhaustion.
After all the exhaustion, all the blood loss, it's hard to have that precision needed to keep the shoulders of your opponent down for the pinfall. And now a table being brought to ringside for these two men.
Well, I asked earlier, what else can these two do to each other?
Hey, Lacey. Come on.
BJ climbing up to the top here.
What's he doing?
Looks like he's undoing that turnbuckle pad.
Trying to get some balance. Again, so much blood loss.
Last thing you want to do is slip up there.
And we've seen that happen with these two men in the past. Both men up top. Looking for a top rope powerbomb. Adrenaline spike. He counters the Contra Code attempt, catches Jacobs and drives him into the mat. Only two, and Lacey dives into the cage. She's all over Whitmer.
Went to go for the slap, but he got blocked. BJ's got Lacey.
The source of all of his problems dumped right on her head. And he's got Jimmy Jacobs on his back as well. Whitmer, where's he going? He's up on the top rope.
Frog splash off the cage.
Contra code.
He kicked out.
Whitmer took a huge chance with that frog splash. It didn't pay off. Jacobs able to connect with the Contra code, but Whitmer kicks out.
Jacobs, though, feeling the effects himself. That left knee obviously causing him some problems. Jacobs hobbling around on one leg almost here.
Blood loss, the bad knee. Lost tooth in the middle of the matchup. Jacobs still more concerned about Lacey.
Oh, he's calling for the table.
And the table being brought inside the cage.
Lacey almost unconscious, or maybe unconscious in the cage. Rolling Whitmer out of the way so we can set up this table.
Jimmy Jacobs looking to put this table to use to finish off BJ Whitmer here.
Whitmer missed the frog splash off the top of the cage. Jacobs able to hit the Contra code, but he may have seriously damaged that left knee.
He's got the table set up, trying to pull Whitmer back up and place him on top of the table.
Overhand shot from Jacobs. Hobbling to the corner. Is he even going to be able to make it up the ropes if that's what he's planning?
That's the same corner that they took that nasty fall on a year ago. And Jacobs, oh, he's almost falling to the floor from the top of the cage. Dangerous position for both of these men.
Right hand from Whitmer. Jacobs hanging on, goes to the eyes, pulls himself back up. Drives ahead of Whitmer off the cage, and he straddles the top rope. Jacobs now standing on the top turnbuckle. Whitmer back on the mat on his side.
And that table awaited below, but Whitmer fell all the way down to the canvas. Jacobs puts him back on the table.
And he's somehow going to try and climb back to the top again.
Whitmer feeling the effects on the table. Jimmy Jacobs standing on the top rope and going to the top of the cage.
What is that? What is that screaming?
I have no idea. Some fans are up against the guardrail. Why are they dressed like that? I have no idea.
Well, they obviously have a problem with the Briscoes.
I've seen them around the building here tonight. I don't know who they are or what they want. That's Tyler Black!
It's Jimmy Jacobs!
Well, we've heard some cryptic messages on the internet and at the live events about a new faction coming to ROH. And I guess it may be Tyler Black and Jimmy Jacobs.
That's the Necro Butcher!
And he's got barbed wire wrapped around his fist. Tyler Black, Jimmy Jacobs, and the Necro Butcher are attacking the Briscoes.
And there's Lacey by their side.
Well, Lacey, always known to be with Jimmy Jacobs. Tyler Black now, small package driver. And the Necro Butcher just going to work on everybody. Why are they attacking the Briscoes?
And who are those people at ringside in the ski masks? There's like a cult following almost here.
My cage, I was gonna pile up bodies to the sky.
What is the age of the fall?
For over a year, I laid my heart at the feet of a woman. Miserable and sad, hoping someday love would save me. Well, when Lacey lay next to me and you said those words, "I love you," I felt nothing. And I realized love doesn't save. Nothing saves! The men that stand next to me and the army that stands behind me, we are bonded together. I didn't choose them, they didn't choose me. See, on one hand, you have my good friend, the Necro Butcher. A misunderstood human being. See, just because he doesn't fit your ideals of beauty, you treat him like an animal and a savage. Then on the other hand, you have Tyler Black, young, jacked, good-looking kid with the whole world ahead of him. But the fact is, he's still lost. He can't find a spot in the world. Hell, he can't find a spot in Ring of Honor. Well, instead of waiting for the invite, he's forcing his way in. And it starts like revolutions past, by cutting the head off the snake. The Briscoes. At 17 and 18, these kids were bred for glory by you people. And you're not only responsible for success, you're responsible for their decay. You cheer them because of their athletic ability, but you give no merit to their moral worth. The fact is, they're obnoxious, they're arrogant, and they're drunkards. Yet, they hold all the power here at Ring of Honor because they're the tag team champions. And that is what's wrong with Ring of Honor. That is what's wrong with society. Now is the time. Each and every one of you look inside yourselves and you ask. Exactly. Because all of you ignorant sons of... You need us. We are the answers. See, this project is over. The age of the fall has just begun.
This is a one-fall match. The Age of the Falls, Jimmy Jacobs versus American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
American Dragon is here in Chicago, battling the weather. Jimmy Jacobs versus the American Dragon. Sometimes you have to destroy the best in the world.
And right on cue, out came Bryan Danielson.
Well, he's got his hands full with the best in the world right now. Going after the arm of Jimmy Jacobs.
Trying to go for the cross arm breaker. Jacobs rolling his body towards Danielson and clasping his hands together. Danielson trying to extend that elbow capsule outward, but instead just firing away in the mounted position. Elbows to the side of the head, lefts and rights repeatedly to the face of Jimmy Jacobs.
Well, the Age of the Fall struggling thus far here at Unscripted 3 to pick up some victories. Tyler Black falling to Austin Aries and Lacey falling to Sarah Del Rey. Let's see how Jimmy Jacobs can do against these elbows from Bryan Danielson. Quickly out to the floor goes Jacobs, very wisely.
Quickly out to the floor to escape those elbows from Danielson. It was a first-time ever singles matchup here in Ring of Honor. These two were involved in a three-way with B.J. Whitmer back at Throwdown in June of 2006. And in that match, Jacobs almost beat Danielson for the world title.
Yeah, it was right in the state of Michigan. It was in Detroit, you know, Jimmy Jacobs' backyard, and had a lot of hometown support during that contest and came very close to defeating Bryan Danielson, who at the time was the ROH World Champion. So first time singles matchup. Unexpected things happen when it's unscripted here in ROH.
Danielson waiting patiently for Jacobs to get back into the ring.
Very cautiously entering the ring once again.
To the midsection and takes control of the arm. Hammerlock takes Danielson down to the canvas.
Referee Todd Sinclair in charge of the action in this one.
Danielson with the reversal, floats over. Trying to get the mount, but Jacobs fighting him off. But Danielson has the side mount and drives the elbow right into the rib cage. Traps the leg as well. Single leg crab attempt, but Jacobs fighting. Danielson trying to turn him here, but unable to do so.
Well, Jacobs was successfully able to block Danielson turning him over there for a moment. It was Dragon that ultimately was able to pull it off, and now has Jimmy Jacobs chest first down on the canvas, and now standing on the back of the knees, grabs hold of the arms. We see the Mexican surfboard cinched in. As Danielson rocking and elevates Jacobs in the hold.
Pressure on multiple body parts from this position. Jacobs looking left and right, trying to find an escape.
Traps the head.
Version of the choke sleeper right there, and again, Jacobs quickly scoots under the bottom rope and out of harm's way.
I wonder if at this point Jacobs is regretting saying those words, best in the world, and bringing out Bryan Danielson. Listen to these Danielson fans.
You gotta wonder if Jacobs is feeling some pain in that surgically repaired left knee. You see him adjusting that knee brace. He was out several months after reconstructive knee surgery, and he's taking the brace off, as a matter of fact. I wonder if maybe the brace is hindering his movement, and he thinks he needs a little bit more flexibility in that leg to deal with the offensive attack of a Bryan Danielson.
It's going to be that knee of Jimmy Jacobs that is always going to be a target of his opponents. They know about that injury, that he needed surgery following that brutal cage match against B.J. Whitmer from Detroit.
Yeah, you got to wonder if Jacobs is going to be a little bit tentative now without that brace. It's very difficult to get used to not having a brace on the knee when you've worn it for several months. It becomes almost like an extension of your leg. You're used to it there at all times. And I know from personal experience of my knee surgery, when I didn't have my braces on, I was very nervous and very tentative whenever I would take a step. So you got to wonder if somewhere in the back of his mind that's going to be playing into Jimmy Jacobs. But right now he just gets dumped on his back by Danielson. Quickly into a cover, but only gets two.
Oh, and pulling up on the arm. Never mind the knee at this point. Jacobs in the ropes, and Danielson just driving the knee into the midsection of Jacobs, trying to pull him out of the corner, but Jacobs holding onto the ropes.
And bought himself just enough time to connect with a headbutt and turn the advantage. Snapmares Danielson down to the canvas and drives the fist right to the bridge of the nose.
Trying to wear down Bryan Danielson here as Jimmy Jacobs has got this cinched in the center of the ring.
And stepped over with that near leg. More leverage as he pulls back on the leg of Danielson, who's still in the seated position trying to find an escape. Danielson now on his feet. Side headlock applied by Jacobs. Danielson sends him off the ropes.
Nice drop kick from Dragon. And grabbing hold of the leg now of Jimmy Jacobs, trying to turn him over. Jacobs trying to kick his way free.
And that one connected with the jaw and just dazed Danielson.
Oh, he's down. Referee checking on Danielson's condition. But luckily for Jimmy Jacobs, he was able to free himself from that position before Danielson could go after that knee. And now Jacobs measuring Dragon.
Down across the chest with the elbow, does not hook the leg. Dragon able to kick out at 2. Danielson moving very slowly now after that kick.
Yeah, that really knocked him loopy. As now Jacobs holding the head of Dragon in position for these strikes.
And Muay Thai knees right to the head, and an elbow drives him down to the canvas.
Yeah, Dragon unable to get back to a standing position ever since Jacobs delivered that kick.
Jacobs biting away at the forehead of Danielson. He drags Danielson a little bit closer to the corner, climbs to the second, and drives the fist again right to the face of Bryan Danielson.
And just pounding away now, holding the head in position and doing more damage. Series of closed fists. A big warning once again from senior official Todd Sinclair. Danielson trying to crawl to the corner, pull himself up.
A determined look on the face of Danielson as he's driven face first to the buckle.
Jacobs, Irish whips Danielson into the corner. Jacobs comes charging, but a big boot from Danielson right to the face. And a diving European uppercut off the second rope.
Great momentum from Danielson as he connected on that blow, and he's starting to fire up.
Big clothesline, and again. He's got Jimmy Jacobs putting on the brakes in the corner. Reversal of the whip. Backflip lands on his feet. Off the ropes, stuck on the clothesline. Knee strike from Danielson. Getting a burst of energy here. The adrenaline is starting to flow. Snaps him down to the canvas.
Snap butterfly suplex, and Danielson now quickly to the outside. Jacobs in the center of the ring, Dragon up top.
Diving headbutt. Cover. Only gets 2.
They knocked the wind out of Jacobs right there, but Jacobs still got the shoulder up, and again, Dragon has those arms trapped. Jacobs, though, with momentum, drives the shoulder of Danielson into the turnbuckle. And a neck breaker.
Jacobs looking to take a chance, going to the top himself. Danielson on his back. Jacobs known for that back senton off the top rope. Connects with it. Cover. No, Danielson gets his shoulder up.
Jacobs tried to drive all of his weight across the chest of Danielson, but that right shoulder still able to be lifted off the canvas before Sinclair came down for 3. The crowd again urging Danielson back to his feet. One face lock.
Going after the arms of Jacobs. Cattle mutilation cinched in.
Right in the center of the ring as well.
The double arm bridge submission from Bryan Danielson. There's Lacey.
Oh, Lacey's got the ref distracted.
Danielson, this forces Danielson to release cattle mutilation in order to take the attention of the referee away from Lacey. But she's got Danielson's attention now. And Jimmy Jacobs using that cane, trying to, but Danielson caught it. He's got the railroad spike. Jacobs with the spike.
Danielson doesn't see it. The ref's tied up right to the head.
The cane was just a distraction. The real weapon is that spike. The referee didn't see it. Danielson kicks out.
Oh, Jacobs is hot.
That was great. What is wrong with
And
you?
Lacey can't believe it. Danielson able to kick out, but Jacobs did the damage with that railroad spike. Pulling that cane into the ring, Danielson was focused on that rather than the real weapon that Jacobs intended to do more damage with, that spike, and was able to strike with the spike, and it has busted open Bryan Danielson.
Right hand from Jacobs trying to open up Danielson even more. And again, firing down on the lacerated forehead of the American Dragon. Headbutt right between the eyes by Jacobs.
Closed fist right on that cut. Trying to cause more blood to flow to cloud the vision of Bryan Danielson.
See Jacobs just measuring Danielson with those punches, very short right hands, precision punches right to that cut, and again biting away at the head of Bryan Danielson.
Jimmy, take it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Driving the boot to the face in the corner and now choking away.
2, 3, 4. 1.
Trying to sap the energy and the strength of Bryan Danielson.
We saw the Age of the Fall savagely attack the Briscoes right here in Chicago at the end of Man Up, causing blood to flow. Now they're doing the very same thing. Jimmy Jacobs with the spike on Bryan Danielson, all just trying to spread their message.
Got him hung upside down in the corner now.
That's going to cause more blood to pour out of his head. Hung upside down in the tree of woe. Jimmy Jacobs comes charging. Knee right to the midsection. And the drop kick right to the head from that position.
Springboarded off the bottom rope to get added momentum and drove both boots right into the face of Danielson. And the former world champ is in big trouble in the corner.
Boot right across the throat of Danielson now. Not only loss of blood, but now he can't breathe. Just being choked by Jacobs. Trying to get Danielson in proper position. He's got his head up against the ring post. We've seen this out of Jimmy Jacobs in the past. As he now gets a running start. Drop kick. Kicking the head of Danielson into the steel. Look at Bryan Danielson. He is out of it.
Oh, Danielson's glassy-eyed. He may have a concussion right here. Almost out on his feet. Another right hand dots the eye of Bryan Danielson.
He can't stay on his feet. He was trying to just walk away from Jimmy Jacobs before more damage could be done. But he just collapsed down to a knee as Jacobs does more damage right in front of these fans. And he's got a chair now. The referee pleading with Jacobs to bring the action back inside as he continues to go to work on that cut.
Danielson seated in that chair as Jacobs crashes down on the chest of Bryan Danielson.
And the body of Bryan Danielson, upon the impact, just broke that chair. Just bent the legs of that steel chair. Referee checking on his condition. Look at him just twitching.
Sinclair may want to think about stopping this matchup.
So much damage has been done to Bryan Danielson. But Jacobs just sort of tossing the referee aside to do more damage to Bryan Danielson as he brings the action back inside the ring.
Quickly goes for the cover, hooks the leg. And Danielson somehow gets the shoulder up.
Jacobs continues to pound away.
2, 3, 4.
Working over the laceration on the head of American Dragon.
Draws another warning from Todd Sinclair for the closed fist. And again, Bryan Danielson just going on guts and instinct here, dragging himself, just trying to will him back to his feet, but just collapsing under the loss of blood.
It has been all Jimmy Jacobs ever since putting that railroad spike to use. Kicking away on the second rope, right into the throat of Bryan Danielson.
Again, drags Danielson towards the corner. Now just taunting the fans here in Chicago as he stomps away on the chest. And then drops the elbow. Cover. And again, Danielson gets the shoulder up.
You gotta hand it to Bryan Danielson. Every time Jacobs goes for a cover, Danielson still has enough to kick out. Putting the bad mouth on Danielson before going up top once again is Jimmy Jacobs. Gets his balance up on the top rope. Danielson, though, back to his feet and takes away the balance of Jacobs.
Crotched him on that top. And now Danielson climbs up all the way to the top himself.
Going for a superplex. Superplex from Danielson.
Both men go crashing to the canvas. Double count applied.
They did damage to Jimmy Jacobs, and it's got Jacobs down and unable to do more to Bryan Danielson. But does Bryan Danielson have enough energy to get back to his feet and follow up? He's lost a lot of blood and been on the receiving end for the past several minutes.
Well, he's made his way to the ropes. Jacobs to his feet. Danielson using the ropes to stand as well. Blocks that punch attempt. Connects with one of his own. And again. Forearms from Dragon.
A combination from Bryan Danielson has him back in control of this match. Charges. Forearm strike in the corner. Connects with the kick as well. Jacobs out to the floor.
Jacobs again trying to buy some time. Danielson looking to take flight.
He took a risk and it paid off. Tope to the floor, wipes out Jimmy Jacobs. Look at how determined Bryan Danielson is.
Fires Jacobs under the bottom rope and quickly to the apron and back to the top goes Danielson.
Missile drop kick connects.
And he still has the strength to nip up.
Digging down, Bryan Danielson charges right into the boot.
Runs right into the boot of Jacobs.
Came leaping off the second rope. Danielson tosses him off.
Leaped off the second and got caught with a spear cover.
Only two. As Jacobs has been using that guillotine choke, he calls it the end time on his opponents. Had it cinched in for a moment before Danielson was able to free himself and toss Jimmy Jacobs off.
Well, Jacobs says that's it. Danielson slow to get to his feet. Going for the contra code.
Can't get it. Slap across the face from Danielson. German suplex with a bridge. Didn't quite have the shoulders against the canvas, but has control of the arms. Back in a cattle mutilation he goes.
And again, Jacobs finds himself trapped in the center of the ring.
Will Jimmy Jacobs be able to hang in there, or will he be forced to tap?
Turns his body away from the hold, but Danielson still has him trapped. Elbows!
Contra code! Nails it! Cover! Only two!
Back and forth they go. Jacobs to his feet.
Danielson still down. A bloody mess. Jacobs gets him in position. Could be looking for another back senton. He hit one earlier.
Danielson got the knees up. Kick to the chest. Stomping away. Triangle choke.
This could be it.
Jacobs' arms going limp, but he's trying to fight it off. The blood pouring from the face of Danielson.
Jacobs trying to inch his way toward the ropes.
Elbows.
Jacobs reaches the ropes.
Oh, give Jacobs credit. He didn't tap out and he made it to the ropes. But how much has he been weakened by Danielson? So the crowd continues to urge Danielson on, back to his feet.
His face is a bloody mess. So much has been taken out of him, but he's all fired up. Bryan Danielson with Jimmy Jacobs placed up top. Trying to set him up for that belly-to-back superplex. Both men all the way to the top rope now.
A very dangerous position here.
Jacobs trying to fight it off. Trying to change his position here as he continues to work away.
Yeah, biting away at the face of Danielson. Right into the end time.
Dragon's beginning to fade now.
Trying to get to his feet.
Come on, Bryan! Come on, Bryan! Bryan, come on!
It's main event time here at Final Battle 2007. The ROH World Tag Team titles on the line. The Briscoes versus the Age of the Fall, Jimmy Jacobs and Tyler Black.
And Jay Briscoe putting the boots to Jimmy Jacobs in the corner, and he immediately tags in Tyler Black.
The Age of the Fall made their presence known in ROH back at the Man Up pay-per-view, attacking the Briscoes, hanging Jay from the ceiling, a bloody mess, and wrapping Mark in barbed wire at Undeniable. And the Briscoes getting their hands on Tyler Black and Jimmy Jacobs. This is the first time that the Black and Jacobs combination of the Age of the Fall have faced the Briscoes, and the belts are on the line.
Tyler Black sent head over heels into the steel. Now, both teams have said they would play by the rules. We saw the promos earlier because the tag titles are on the line, and the Age of the Fall have said they want the belts more than anything, but the Briscoes just want to prove they're the better team. Snap suplex on the floor.
Jarring the back of Tyler Black.